Happy January, everybody! I didn't read that many books in December, but I did end up getting through 6. 2 of them were rereads, actually 3 of them were rereads, 1 ebook, and then 2 sequels. So I started this month off with rereading The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer by Michelle Hodkin, and then followed up with both The Evolution and The Retribution of Mara Dyer. I really liked The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer, even the second time I read it, even though I did notice that I was kind of growing out of the YA genre altogether, which I've been noticing for a while now. So there was like a slight deduction of stars and points for this book simply because I'm older now and I'm way more critical of everything I read, apparently. I still like The Evolution. I gotta say, I still liked it. It took a completely different detour in book 2, the story and everything, and I still enjoyed it. I still thought, even though it's difficult to make this thing work, it is possible at the end of the day, you know, it's still a thing that could potentially happen. And then the Retribution happened and I was like, nope, no thank you. This is what the hell is happening here? This is not what I signed up for. My biggest problem with the Retribution was that it seemed to have completely lost its way and was unsure of what its genre was supposed to be. It was literally so all over the place and included things where you're like, what the fuck is this supposed to do in this book? I thought it was gonna be fantasy and now we're somewhere else entirely. So, first point of criticism. Secondly, I thought the character development was completely random and didn't stick to any kind of theme. Mara completely jumped between personalities and like switched them out however she liked somehow, and I was not into it at all. The only really good parts about this book were the really dark and gruesome parts where graphic things happened, where like she killed people and stuff like that, and where she let out that really evil side of her, because that's what I expected of this book. I thought it being titled The Retribution, that Mara would become like this really kick-ass character who'd, similar to Juliet from Ignite Me and the Shatter Me trilogy, would embrace this gift that was simultaneously somewhat of a curse, and I thought she'd kind of own it and be awesome and not this random collection of character traits that didn't make any sense overall. So no, the series started on a high note and ended just nope, thank you, in that kind of section of books that I'm never gonna reread. Speaking of rereads, I did reread 2 books this month. The first one was Stolen Songbird by Danielle L. Jensen, because this book is so fucking good. I'll probably reread it every single year now or something because it's so good. It's still my favorite book ever, and if you like fantasy and you like YA romance, fantasy novels that are good and really well written and follow a concise storyline that's actually interesting, and if characters that have personalities and romance that isn't insta-life, yeah, you're going to love this book because it is so fantastic. I filmed a book talk on this when I read it the first time, so I'll link that down below. You can hear all my thoughts about it there. I just thought this book was fantastic. You know, no complaints, no criticism, nothing. The second reread of this month was The Coldest Girl in Coldtown by Holly Black. Again, this book is so fantastic. I love it. I love it so much. I didn't realize that the romance in this book was very insta-lovey, kind of, until the second time I read it. For some reason I thought the first time around that it was very slow going, but no, actually, they're very, like, you know, they meet each other 3 times, I believe, before the end or something, you know. The good thing though about this book is that the romance isn't the only focal point. If you took away the romance, the book would still be awesome, it would still work, the storyline would still work for the most part, and the ending third, I think the last third of the book, is probably my favorite part because the revelations of the plot twists and all that other stuff, that even though I knew it, you know, the second time around, obviously you know it, but even though I did know it, it was so cool. It was still really cool and I forgot a lot of things, so again, awesome book. And the last book I read this month is Ember by Betty Sharp. It's basically a, you know, modified fairy tale retelling of Cinderella, the fairy tale. It's kind of an adult retelling, so I wouldn't recommend it to children. Please don't read that. But it's also not very true to the story, but I did like the adaptation. It's actually an ebook and it's actually for free, so I'll link it down below. There are some like I don't know how to explain that, like layout things, like whenever there's like an apostrophe or anything, like it just scrambles up the signs and things like that, which is quite annoying, but you do get used to it, and I didn't find any other versions online, so if you want to read it for free, you can do it over there. Overall, I really enjoyed the story. I thought for what it is, it's really fun to read and really well thought out and well written. The language is very fairy tale-like, which is nice, and it's not just an excuse to write a whole bunch of sex scenes. Both the storyline and the plot twist towards the end are very transparent, but honestly, my expectations for this book weren't all that high anyway, and I just read it because the premise sounded really freaking cool. Basically, it's about Prince Charming who's been cursed to make every single woman ever fall in love with him, and all the guys admire him, and basically he's the most loved person ever, and it's about Ember, who's the only one who can resist him. Yeah. Again, not very original, but for what it is and what it tries to be, it's amazing, and I thought it was really great. Overall, I had a pretty decent reading month in December. I hope yours went just as well or even better, and I'm gonna see you soon. Have a lovely week. Bye! Hi guys! Happy 2015! Welcome to the new year. I hope you had an awesome New Year's Eve. And today, I'm gonna show you every single one of the books that I read last year, because that's a thing that I'm gonna be doing today. Including ebooks and rereads, I read 88 books in the last 12 months, which is kind of a lot. I didn't quite manage to hit my 100 books Goodreads challenge, but I did have the occasional reading slump, so I guess it just wasn't meant to be. However, 88 books isn't bad, I believe. I've done worse. So let's see which books I actually did read.